Good morning to all. Jai Hind. My name is Babita. I am Assistant Professor in MC Department at Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So today we are going to discuss a next lecture in the series of computer network. So today topic is cryptography. So basically this is a very important topic, and if I'm telling you, this lecture is more beneficial for the MCA students, MCA second year, and BCA and BSc Computer Science also. So they are prefer this video for your exam preparation point of view. Thank you. So let's get start. Today's topic is a cryptography. Basically, first of all, we come to know about the cryptography and why it is important for us in the today's era. So let's discuss what we'll discuss in this lecture. On the completion of this lecture, learner definitely able to learn about the cryptography and why it is important. And basically, if I am talking about the basic terms of the cryptography, we will discuss here. And next we will talk about some types of cryptography. And next we will discuss in the sequence of application areas where the cryptography is used, right? So this is the complete overview of today's lecture. So let's get started. First of all, we come to know about the cryptography. Basically, cryptography is a technique. Yeah, we can say, if I'm referencing from the previous lectures, in a computer network, we understood what is the network, and then we understood the how network connecting to each others, and what are the different kinds of devices used to make the connection between the networks, like for example LAN, MAN and WAN. Then how the networks are connecting to each others. So there we discussed about some routers, switches, gateways, okay. And next we will discuss about some transmission mechanism, in which we discussed about the switching, like packet switching, circuit switching and message switching. So basically in the computer network series, we completed a step by step with all important concept. So I'm saying here the cryptography is basically work on the application layer. As you know, in the OSI and TCP/IP model, we have a 7 and 4 layers collection. So we started from 0 layer to top layer. So basically, in which we talked about the physical layer, on what we are discussed the framing, and then we will worked on a data link layer, in which we talked about some network approaches, and at the last layer, I'm saying here at the application layer, we will discuss about the cryptography. Basically, application layer is provide the mechanism, provide an interface where the user directly interact with the application. So basically, cryptography is worked on the application layer. So it is a science of using mathematics to encrypt and decrypt data. So basically, what is the meaning of these terms, encrypt and decrypt data, and why it is used here? So we will understood this particular approach by taking an example. Just to suppose this is a system, and from this system, from this device, a sender wants to send the message, and here we have another location, or you can say another device, which receive the data. Yeah, we can say this is a receiver. So basically it sends the data and it receives the data, right? So what happen is here, the sender wants to send the data, but how, मतलब किस तरीके से अपने डेटा को सेंड करेगा, या यू कैन से मीन्स अगर सेंडर आपका डेटा सेंड करता है, सपोज सेंडर सेंड सम डेटा टू द रिसीवर, देन हाउ मेक श्योर दिस पर्टिकुलर इंफॉर्मेशन एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा इज ओनली रिसीव्ड बाय द इंटेंडेड receiver, because as you know, when we send the data on the internet, or we can say on a network, and this network is the open. What does this mean? Open means anyone can access the data from anywhere. So basically, how make sure your data is more securely received by the receiver. So what is the problem is here, if I send the data on the open source, or you can say on the internet, there is the possibility, because here have some are present, have some unauthorized devices, and these unauthorized devices also known as the attackers, and these attackers wants to access your data on this on the network. So, right from the network. So how can you secure your information? That's why attackers are not able to access or are not able to read your information. So basically what will happen here, we will apply some security mechanism, and these security mechanism is known as the cryptography. So basically when we apply some techniques which is secure my data on the internet, and this particular process, when we securing our data by applying some mathematical techniques, so basically it is known as the cryptography. So when we securing, when we applying the mathematical methods, this process is known as a encryption. And when we decrypt, basically what happen, if you secure your information by applying some mathematical formulations at the sender side, so receiver are not able to understand your message. So basically when it received by the receiver, receiver first decrypt the information by applying the same mathematic techniques or mathematic formula. That's why it get the original message, right? This is the main process. So what is the meaning of encryption? Encryption means you are applying some technique, a technique through which your message is secure, right? And decryption that means at the receiver side, means receiver further apply the same technique which is applied by the sender in the same scenario. That's why it receive the actual message, right? So cryptography is the combination of two words, crypto and graphy. So what is the meaning of crypto? Here meaning is the crypto is a secret, and what is the graphy? Graphy, that means writing. So basically for what purpose cryptography we will use? For secreting writing. Secret writing. That means you want to secure your message. That's why the unauthorized person which are present on the internet are not able to access your actual information. If they access but not understand exactly what is the meaning, right? Next, cryptography enables you to store sensitive information or transmit it across the insecure network. Just for example, we can say the internet, right? So that it can be read by anyone except the intended receiver. This is the main purpose. That's why we are applying the cryptography techniques, right? While cryptography is the science of securing data, and cryptanalysis are called the attackers. That means if among these attackers are able to crack your message security, that means these particular known as the crypto analysis. So what is the crypto analysis? Crypto analysts are those who crack your security and who crack your break your security mechanism and able to access your information. That known as the crypto analyst, right? नेक्स्ट वाई इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो बेसिकली हमने ये तो समझ लिया क्रिप्टोग्राफी क्या होता है, बट वाई इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस. सो देर आर सम की पॉइंट्स, दैट्स वाई वी आर अप्लाइंग द क्रिप्टोग्राफी ऑन आवर मैसेज. So basically there is some points. First of all, the data confidentiality. What is the meaning of data confidentiality? Confidentiality matlab means more secure and only received by the intended receiver. So basically ensure that data is only accessible to authorized person या authorized user, which we if just for example A sends a data to B. So basically here the data is only received by the user B. This is the data confidentiality. That means if I am sending data to you, so only the data is received by you. If any one person or any other person receive the data, there is a no confidentiality, right? So encryption method prevent eavesdroppers or attackers from reading the sensitive data. For example, in the army, our Indian army officers talk to each other. They are using some code words like hello. So basically what is happen here, they are using some crypto techniques, and these crypto techniques provide the mechanism to secure your data, and this particular code word is totally understood by the intended receiver. अगर हमारे देश का आर्मी ऑफिसर होगा, then वो उस means hello या over के कॉन्सेप्ट को अंडरस्टूड कर पाएगा, एंड व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल मीनिंग दे आर अंडरस्टूड, राइट? And the data integrity, what is the meaning of data integrity? That means we are talking about the accuracy. So verify that transmitted data has not been altered. Altered means there is a no changes, there is a no interference during the transmit. That means in the same form as the sender sends the data, receiver receive in the same form. This is the data integrity. Hash function. For this purpose, if I am saying what is the best mechanism of the cryptography used for data integrity, there is the hash function which is used, and cryptographic checksum ensure the data integrity is maintained. Next we will talk about the authentication. What is the meaning of authentication? Authentication, that means if two parties are communicating to each other, that means before the sending data and before sharing information, I definitely ensure the receiver is the intended receiver or not. So this particular concept is implementing by the applying cryptography techniques. So here we have some other approaches on which we will talk about later. Just for example, digital signature. So basically digital signature provide the concept of authentication, because if we have the digital signature of the intended receiver, then definitely easily verify if the receiver is the means accurate or not, right? Non-repudiation. Non-repudiation, that means it prevents the entities from denying the authenticity of their action. Just suppose कि someone sends your data, या someone receive your sends some data, and after some time it deny, I'll not receive your information, I'll not receive your message. So basically cryptography also work on this particular concept. Digital signature ensure that actions such as sending a message or signing a document and verify and legally binding. So these are the concept. That's why cryptography is very important in this approach, right? Next we will talk about the actual process of the cryptography. That means हमने ये तो बात कर ली कि cryptography क्या है, किस तरीके से काम करता है. तो how it is work and how it is implement actually in a mathematical scenario, we will discuss here. Just suppose here a device like device A, and this device sends data, sends data to B, right? So what happen is here, first of all, the actual message, this is the actual message, and message may be hello. So hello is the actual message, and this actual message if sends on the network directly without applying any encryption technique or without applying any cryptography techniques, that there is the possibility all the attackers which are staying on the open source or internet will able to access your information, and they also have a must also have the copy of your message. So it is a risky approach. If you are sending your data directly on the internet, that it will cause the risk with your information. So basically what are doing here, we are doing we are applying some techniques, and this techniques is known as a encryption technique, right? So first of all we take the simple message, and this simple message applying some mathematical formulas, and this mathematical formula is known as a encryption technique, right? And after encryption, this simple message become a ciphertext, right? After applying the encryption technique, this particular message become a ciphertext, and this ciphertext is a coded form, not easily understood by the third party. So basically if I am sending the hello, and this hello convert in some other sequencing order like this, so just for example, this become the ciphertext, and this ciphertext is not easily understandable by the third party. So basically we will consider it as a secure information, and this will sends on the internet, and on internet your messages travel, and after some time it received by the receiver. But what is the condition is here, this particular form is received by the receiver, and which is not easily understandable what is the meaning of this information. So what receiver what is doing here, receiver is applying the same techniques which is applied by the sender, and this particular technique is known as a decryption. And after applying the decryption technique, the message will convert into the actual form. So receiver receive the actual message, and this actual message will be hello. So it is easily understandable. So basically when we are applying the encryption technique, we also use a key, and this particular key is shared by the receiver, because when you applying the encryption, you are using some particular key, and this key definitely share with your receiver, that's why it able to decrypt the message. So this is the process, right? When sender sends the data, it convert into the plain text to ciphertext, that's why third party are not easily accessible. And then if receiver received your data, and then definitely it apply the decryption technique, further convert the ciphertext into the plain text, right? This is the actual process of the cryptography. Next we will talk about some basic terminology. Here we will talk about some terms which is not easily understandable to the students. So basically we will discuss at a one by one. First of all, we are talking about the plain text. What is the plain text? So here actual message or actual information which is readable by the user known as the plain text. So information before it is encrypted is known as a plain text. Next we will talk about the ciphertext, the encrypted form of the plain text which is not easily readable by the user, and or you can say the third party which are who are present on the internet. It is known as a ciphertext, right? And what is a cipher? Cipher is an algorithm process which is helps the sender to transform your actual or your plain text into the ciphertext by applying some mechanism. These particular mechanism may be possible transposition or substitutions. So basically these are a further another concept on which we are talking later in the next videos. And next we will talk about the encryption. So basically as a practically हमने ये चीज समझ लिया है कि what is the actual meaning of the encryption. So basic the process of converting human readable form, yeah, you can say your actual message into the cipher text which is not easily readable by the user. using encryption algorithm. Here the meaning of encryption algorithm, that means we are using a specific key through which we secure our informations, right, and a key to protect the data from unauthorized access. Next we will talk about the decryption. Encryption always performed at the sender side. That thing is always keep in your mind. Encryption always perform at the sender side, right, and decryption always performed at a receiver side. This is the main key points, right. So decryption is the process which is implies at the receiver side, and for what purpose we are applying it? The process of converting ciphertext into the plain text using the appropriate decryption algorithms. It may be same algorithm as a senders use, and it may be different algorithms. When we will talk about the in the next concept we will talk about on this concept. Next we talked about the key. So basically a piece of information used in encryption and decryption, the basic concept is the key, and this key may be a same key or a different kind of key. If we are using the same key, that means we are talking about the private key which is shared by the sender and receiver. So, and if I am talking about the different keys, that means we are talking about the public key, right. So here we have two different keys for encryption and as well as for decryptions. So symmetric key cryptography, you can say symmetric key encryption uses the same key for encryption and decryption for both tasks. If I want to encrypt and decrypt, that means we are using only one key concept for doing the both tasks. And in asymmetric key cryptography, that means use a pair of keys, that means a public key and private key, and public key is used for encryption and private key is used for decryption, right. So this is the concept. And next we will talk about the types of cryptography. Here we have a boldly classified into two category, but somewhere you also see the hash function also. So basically what is the symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric cryptography. And as previous we also talked about symmetric key cryptography, also known as the secret key cryptography, or you can say private key cryptography, because here we have only one key, right. Here we have only one key for both tasks. If I want to encrypt, then we will do the same key, and if I want to decrypt, then we will do the same key with the same key, right. So this is the concept of symmetric key cryptography. Asymmetric key cryptography, also known as the public key cryptography, and two different kinds of cryptography use we will here, just for example public key and private key. So basically public and private key are used मीन्स हम ये कह सकते हैं कि पब्लिक और प्राइवेट की जो होंगी वो हमारे रिसीवर के होंगे. इफ आई इम्प्लीमेंटिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट इंक्रिप्शन, दैट मीन्स मैं रिसीवर का पब्लिक की यूज करूंगी फॉर डूइंग द इंक्रिप्शन. इफ आई वांट टू डिक्रिप्ट द एक्चुअल मैसेज, दैट मीन्स रिसीवर ऑलवेज यूज इट्स अ प्राइवेट की टू डिक्रिप्ट द मैसेज, राइट. So basically in depth we will talk about it. So symmetric key cryptography is a faster and simpler, but the problem is that the sender and receiver have the same key to exchange the information. So to encrypt or decrypt, and they must have to share between those between both, right. So somehow exchange key securely, यानी कि problem is that कि दोनों के बीच में की को किस तरीके से शेयर किया जाए. This is the main problem in the case of symmetric key cryptography, because as you know that if sender is here present and receiver is present here, and they are communicating through the network and through the internet, and this particular platform is a insecure platform, or you can say open platform. Anyone can access this particular anytime. That means we are saying here there are more than one devices which is present in the form of attackers, and this information if travel at this platform without any encryption technique, so basically if just for example हमने उसको encrypt भी कर दिया है, but how can we share the secret key? Just suppose this secret key is applied by the sender, and then sender how it shared with the receiver. That's why receiver can decrypt your actual message. So this is the main problem in the case of symmetric key cryptography. So sender sends your message, and this message is known as a plain text, and after applying a key and encryption technique, this particular message is converted into the ciphertext, and this ciphertext is travel on the internet, and this internet from this network from this internet receiver received the message, because there are the more than one devices who wants to access your message, but actually में message का original meaning आपका intended receiver ही get कर पाएगा. That is the main concept. So this shared key is received by the receiver, and after receiving the shared key, it apply on the ciphertext, and this ciphertext further converted into the plain text, and then your receiver able to access your information. So basically here we have some examples where we use the concept of symmetric key cryptography, DES, AES and triple DES. Basically what is the meaning of DES? Data encryption standard and advanced encryption standard, and triple DES yani ki means triple DES, also called as a triple data encryption standard. So basically these are some algorithms which is use the concept of symmetric key cryptography, right? Next we will talk about the asymmetric key cryptography. As its names implies, asymmetric, that means keys not are same, right? So basically asymmetric key encryption algorithm use a pair of keys. So these pair of keys should be public key and private key. So basically if you are using two pair of keys for encryption and decryption, then you can say the concept of asymmetric key cryptography is implementing here. So basically this particular keys pair of keys is used for creator and by the creator, and you can say the sender for encryption message, yeah, for encrypting your message. When the encryption process is implementing in the asymmetric key cryptography, always you are there is a no concept of exposing your public key or private key, and no sharing concept. Simply you are using at your end, right? So for decrypting your information. So basically this particular approach is used in the RSA algorithm and digital signature for verifying and for authentic encrypt your message by using the receiver public key, and after the and at the receiver side, receiver use its private key to decrypt your message. So there is no problem of sharing the keys, and no some application areas of the cryptography. So basically here we have some other fields. Digital signature. So basically in the digital signature, how can you use the concept of cryptography? Basically the signature of who are signed digitally, then there will use the hash function, and this hash function create a hash value always stored at the sender or receiver side. Definitely verify with the stored hash value. If it will match, then definitely the intended user the accurate, or otherwise you are not connecting with the authorized person. So this is the concept where the cryptography is used. So basically in another case also use the cryptography. So this is the last concept, and next on the next topic we will discuss in the next videos. And this particular video is more beneficial, as we mentioned, for MCA student, BCA student. And if you like this, then like and comment and subscribe. Thank you.